Section 1.6 Interactive Assignment Objective 3. Researchers wanted to test the effectiveness of a new drug therapy for treating patients with heart disease. To do this, they identified 105 patients with a diagnosis of heart disease. Patients were randomly assigned to one of three treatment groups. 35 patients were randomly assigned to receive the new drug therapy, another 35 received the older drug therapy, and the final 35 received the placebo therapy. To measure the effectiveness of the treatment, researchers scored each patient on a standardized rating scale for heart disease. After collecting and comparing the scores for the three treatment groups, the researchers concluded that the new drug therapy is significantly more effective than both the older drug therapy and the placebo therapy in the treatment of heart disease. Let's go ahead and complete parts A through F. Part A, what type of experimental design is this? Okay, well, let's take a look at our options in this question. Okay, so we either have matched pairs design, case control study, completely randomized design, or cohort study. Now, a completely randomized design is one in which the experiment unit is randomly assigned to a treatment. A matched pairs design is an experimental design in which the experimental units are paired up. The pairs are selected so that they are related in some way, that is, the same person before and after a treatment, twins, husband and wife, same geographical location, and so on. Cohort studies are observational studies that follow a group of individuals over a long period of time. Case control studies are retrospective, meaning that they require individuals to look back in time or require the researcher to look at existing records. So in this case here, what we're dealing with is a completely randomized design. So let's take a look at our result. The answer is completely randomized design. What is the population that is being studied? Okay, so remember that the definition, the population is the entire group to be studied. Therefore, it's all patients with a diagnosis of heart disease. So therefore, all patients with a diagnosis of heart disease. What is the response variable in this study? Okay, remember the definition, the response variable is the variable that the researchers are observing to see whether it is affected or changes in response to change in the explanatory variable. In this case here, we're looking for the score on a standardized rating scale for heart disease. So therefore, it is the score, which is what they're saying up here, right, to measure the effectiveness of the score on a standardized rating scale for heart disease. What are the treatments? Okay, remember, treatments are the different levels of the explanatory variable. Well, there's three different types. There's the new drug therapy, there's the older drug therapy, and then there's the placebo therapy. So therefore, the answer is B here. Next question is, identify the experimental units. Okay, so let's go back down here. Experimental units is a person, object, or some other well-defined item upon which a treatment is applied. And so therefore, there were a total of 105 patients. Therefore, it'd be the 105 patients with a diagnosis of heart disease. So therefore, our answer is C. Now, which figure illustrates the design experiment? Well, the design experiment has a random assignment of adults to treatments. Then you have the group 1, which is 35 patients. Group 2 is 35 patients. Group 3 is 35 patients, which is a total of 105. Group 1 has a new therapy. Group 2 has the older therapy. And Group 3 is the placebo therapy. And then you're going to compare the standardized rating scale. So therefore, it's going to be figure 1. So the answer is figure 1.